The man who waits will rot. Listen, you who sit with your hands folded, who tell yourself tomorrow, tomorrow, the grave does not wait. It comes swift and silent, whether you are ready or not. And what then? What will the worms say of your hesitation? There is a sickness in this age, a sickness of delay. Men rot in comfort as if it were a virtue. They build their homes in the valley and call it wisdom, never daring the climb, never feeling the wind tear at their faces. But I tell you, the mountain does not care if you are afraid. The sun rises whether you lift your eyes or not. You were made for more than this. Every hour you spend in idleness is a theft, not from the world, but from yourself. The fire within you dims, not by the gust of some great storm, but by the slow, suffocating drip of later. Later is the lie of cowards. Later is the hymn of the damned. I have walked among the graves of men who died with their songs still in them. Their bones cry out from the earth, whispering the same wretched refrain. I was afraid. I waited too long. Do you think you will be different? Do you think the Reaper cares for your excuses? Number he does not, so rise. Now before the weight of your own regret crushes you, there's a battle being waged inside you, a war older than empires, fiercer than any clash of steel, and yet you pretend it does not exist. You think yourself at peace because the world has not forced you to fight. But peace is not the absence of war. It is the mastery of it. The man who has not conquered himself is not a man at all. He is a ghost, drifting through life, untouched by greatness, unmarked by struggle. I have seen them, the hollow men. They laugh too loudly at jokes they do not find funny. They nod at wisdom they do not understand. They marry, they labor, they die, and never once do they feel the fire that should have burned in their chests. Do you know why? Because they surrendered before the first shot was fired. The greatest enemy you will ever face does not stand before you with a sword. He stands within you, whispering that you are weak, that you are small, that you will fail before you begin. And every time you listen, he grows stronger. But hear me now, you were not meant to kneel, not to him, not to anyone. So take up the sword of discipline, let your soul be your shield. Fight, not for glory, not for gold, but for the right to look into the mirror and know, truly know, that you did not run. How to carry regret without being crushed by it. Regret is the heaviest thing a man can bear, because it cannot be put down. You think your past is behind you? Fool. It clings like a shadow, growing longer with every setting sun. The choices you did not make, the words you did not speak, the love you did not fight for, they follow you, silent as ghosts, hungry as wolves. But listen closely. Regret is not your enemy. A man who feels no regret is a man who has never tried, never loved, never dared. The pain you carry is proof that you were meant for more than this. The question is not how do I escape it, but what do I do with it? Let it be your fuel. Let it be the fire that drives you forward. I have known men who drowned in their sorrows, who let the weight of yesterday drag them into the deep. And I have known men who forged their regrets into swords and cut a path through the darkness. Which will you be, on suffering and the forging of souls? No great thing was ever born of comfort. No towering oak grew sheltered from the wind. You curse your trials, you weep at the weight upon your back. Foolish man, it is the anvil that makes the sword, not the velvet sheath. The fire that does not burn you will never purify you. I have walked through the furnace of my own making. I have felt my skin crack and my bones groan beneath the hammer of fate. And yet I stand, taller, harder, unbroken. What are your sufferings compared to the destiny they prepare you for? What are your tears but the rain that waters the seeds of your strength? Do not pray for an easier life. Pray to be a stronger man. Why all great men hear voices in the stillness. The modern world is a cacophony of distraction, a marketplace of shouting men where wisdom goes to die. But I tell you this, God does not speak in the earthquake or the fire. He whispers in the silence after. When was the last time you sat with yourself? Truly sat, without a bottle, without a screen, without the numbing chatter of fools? When did you last let the silence press against your ears until it became a roar? The answers you seek are not in books or speeches. They are buried in your own chest, waiting for the noise to stop so they can be heard. Find your stillness, or be lost forever in the din, the ghost that haunts every half-lived life. There is a specter that follows you, closer than your shadow, more persistent than any nightmare. It is the man you could have been. He watches as you squander your days. He weeps as you trade your dreams for trifles. He stands at the foot of your bed each night, shaking his head in silent judgment. And one day, when the last sands are falling, he will lean down and whisper in your ear, "All this. And for what? Will you meet his gaze then? Or will you die avoiding the mirror?" Why weakness spreads like a disease. A ship with a small leak will still sink, it just takes longer. So too with the unfinished man. His half-measures and compromises accumulate like rot in the hull of his soul. One day he wakes to find himself adrift, his courage waterlogged, his willpower eaten through. I have seen villages destroyed not by war or famine, but by the slow creep of good enough. I have watched empires fall to the relentless tide of tomorrow. The disease starts small, a skipped duty here, a surrendered principle there. But make no mistake, decay does not negotiate. It conquers. Plug your leaks while you still can. What stone and sky can teach you about perseverance? The mountain does not hurry, yet it reaches the heavens. Study this truth, you impatient children. You who rage at slow progress, who abandon your labors at the first sign of struggle. The greatest things grow in silence over lifetimes. Can you not see? Your frustration is the tantrum of a spoiled child denied instant gratification. But the earth turns at its own pace. The seasons change when they are ready, and men become legends through the accumulation of unglamorous days. Become as the mountain, silent, steadfast, inevitable. How comfort becomes your prison. The man who says, "I have enough," has signed his death warrant, though his heart may beat for 50 more years. There is a poison in satisfaction, a slow paralysis that begins when a man trades his hunger for contentment. I have seen lions turned into lapdogs this way, watched as kings of the forest became fat and lazy, begging for scraps at the table of mediocrity. You were not made for enough. You were forged in the fire of eternal becoming. The moment you stop reaching is the moment you start dying. Beware the man who admires his own reflection. Narcissus drowned in still waters. Why your excuses will outlive you men build monuments to their limitations and call them wisdom. I am too old, says the man of 40. It is too late, whispers the widow at 50. The world has changed, mutters the youth who never tried. These are not truths. They are epitaphs written in advance. I have seen one-armed men scale cliffs, watched penniless immigrants build empires, known deaf composers who heard symphonies in their souls. What then is your excuse? The truth you fear? That you simply did not want it badly enough? Tear down your monuments. The stone is still soft enough to reshape. Why you starve amid plenty? You dwell in a land of plenty, yet perish of hunger, not of the body, but of the spirit. The supermarkets overflow, the warehouses bulge with goods, yet your soul withers like a neglected crop. You consume without nourishment, acquire without possessing, feast without tasting. This is not living. This is the slow suicide of distraction. There is only one remedy: hunger, real hunger. The kind that drives wolves through blizzards and sailors across uncharted oceans, until you learn to starve again for truth, for meaning, for greatness. You will remain a ghost haunting your own life. How small compromises sum to a wasted life. One drink becomes a bottle. One missed morning becomes a wasted year. One cowardly silence becomes a lifetime of regret. Men do not fall all at once. They descend gradually, step by comfortable step, until they wake one day to find themselves in hell and cannot remember the path that brought them there. The devil's greatest trick was not convincing men he doesn't exist, but persuading them that today's small surrender doesn't matter. Keep your accounts daily, for the interest compounds faster than you know. What the ocean knows that you have forgotten. The sea does not apologize for its tides, nor the wind for its fury. Yet you apologize for your strength. You temper your voice, soften your gaze, make yourself small to avoid offending the weak. This is not kindness, but cowardice disguised as virtue. Nature knows no such false modesty. The eagle does not hesitate in its dive. The storm does not ask permission. And the great men of history did not change the world by waiting for consensus. Rise or recede. There is no middle ground. What the anvil teaches about transformation, iron only becomes steel through repeated blows. This is the secret the comfortable will never understand. Suffering is not your enemy, but your alchemist. The disappointments, the failures, the heartbreaks. These are not signs you should turn back, but proof you are being forged into something harder, sharper, finer. I have watched men shatter at the first hammer fall, seen others walk away when the fire grew hot, but the few who endured, oh, what marvels they became. Stay on the anvil. Your finest form is yet to come. A final word to those who would carry the torch. The fire does not ask if you are worthy before it burns. It simply is, and in its light, you must decide whether to warm yourself or be consumed. These letters were never meant to be preserved. They were written in midnight hours, torn from a soul that could not keep silent. If you have read them, truly read them, then you will understand. These are not mere words, but embers. Handle them carefully. They may yet set your life ablaze. I go now to that undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns. But mark this well, death comes for us all, yet only the living can die. Most men ceased living long before their last breath. Do not number yourself among them. The rest is silence.